Last time we went over the basics of SketchBook Express. Now I'm going to show you how you're going to use all those tools together to actually make a drawing. The theme of this competition is my story. I recently started skateboarding, so I think I'm going to draw myself skateboarding for this. I'm going to go through all the different steps that I do to create a piece of artwork, from the sketch, to refining the sketch, to creating line art, to coloring the line art, and then finally shading it. I'm going to use the pencil tool, and I'm going to pick a color that's probably just a light color, because this is just going to be sort of my outline for the drawing. I'm not going to worry too much about making it perfect. I'm just going to sort of feel it out and figure out where it's going to live. Alright, I'm pretty happy with my sketch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to refine it. So I'm going to spend some time erasing any unnecessary lines, making sure that every line really is part of what I want my final drawing to look like. I think my head's a little too far away. It kind of looks like my neck is way too long. I'm going to use the selection tool to draw a circle all the way around my head. And then I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to move my head down just a little bit so it looks a little bit better. Now here's another trick that I like to do. Sometimes the things you draw are sort of slanted one way or the other and you don't realize it. So I use the mirror function in SketchBook to check it and make sure it looks right. So you're going to find that in the top toolbar if you go to Image, Mirror Canvas. And what that's going to do is it's going to flip everything on the canvas the other direction so you can have a look at it. This sort of helps you judge your artwork in a different way because you get blind to it after a while. Now it's time to do the line art for our picture. So we've got on layer 1 is my sketch, and I've turned the opacity down. And then on layer 2, that's where I'm going to do my line art. The method that I like to use is I get a brush that I really like the feeling of, like this pencil brush. So if I draw a couple of strokes, you'll see that it's got this really nice, smooth sort of transition from like a very light stroke to a dark stroke. You should experiment with the other tools in SketchBook Express to see which one you like best. But the real key here to making my line art is to get it in one stroke. So each line that I want to create, I want it to be one fluid movement of the brush. That way it doesn't look feathery, it doesn't look messy. I've got undo set to one of my tablet buttons. So I draw a stroke and then I undo it, and then I draw and then I undo it, and I just keep doing that until I hit it perfectly. Anything that I want colored in black, since I'm using black as the line art color, I'm just going to fill it in on the line art layer. Now that I've got the line art done, the next step is coloring. So I'm going to hide my sketch, which is in blue. That's layer 1. I'm going to click this little eyeball icon to make it go away. And then I'm going to take my line art and I'm going to put it on the top of my stack. So I do that by using these buttons right here, these little arrows. Click and drag to pull your layer up to the top of the stack. Once I've got my line art on the top of the stack, I'm going to begin coloring. So I'm going to lay down my flat colors first. This is going to be sort of like a base color. Once I've got my flat colors done, it's time to do shading. So I'm going to take another layer and I'm going to do my shading on that layer. When you're shading, it's not just about shadows, it's also about highlights. Once I've done a first pass of the shading, I'm actually going to go back to the mirror canvas tool and take a look at it and see what I think. So When I look at it, I kind of feel like my face looks weird. I mean, it's silly, it's cartoony, but I feel like my mouth is too far to one side and it doesn't look right. So I'm just gonna go back and I'm gonna erase it and I'm gonna draw my face over. This is just one of many ways to use SketchBook